Hello and welcome to Target Audience. My name is Classical 101 and I believe there's a movie for everyone. Today under the target, it's the Disney nostalgia-packed flick, Lilo and Stitch. Does it hold up? Is Stitch still cute? And most importantly, who will enjoy it the most? Let's find out. Our film opens with the Star Wars Senate deciding the fate of the mad scientist Jumbo, who has created this tiny blue demon from hell, only known as Experiment 626, who's hell-bent on chaos and naughtiness. The Senate decides to exile the fuzzy-wuzzy murder machine, but Experiment 626 escapes and finds his way to Earth. Like any good tourist, he comes to Hawaii, probably looking for a tan or something. Some military general wants to blow up the Earth, but a green, one-eyed Mike Wazowski-looking motherfucker named Pinkley wants to preserve the endangered mosquito population on the Earth. The general sends Pinkley and Jumbo to Earth to recapture the beast, and we cut to our other title character of the film, Lilo. Lilo is the best part of this movie. Screw Stitch, screw the space galactic garbage, Lilo is where it's at. She's quirky, well-written, well-voice-acted, deeply flawed, yet still a compelling, adorable character you can't help but root for. Her ambitions are simple. She wants to dance and live with her sister Nani, but has trouble doing this because of her flashes of anger and eccentric behavior. As I said, she lives with her sister Nani, who was taking care of her since her parents have passed on because of Disney disorder. Nani is doing her best to raise Lilo and stop her from being taken away by a social worker called Bubbles. Bubbles. It's funny 'cause irony. Nani is given a 3-day deadline to clean up her act, and the second Bubbles leaves, however, this is another highlight of the movie, Nani and Lilo's relationship. Their relationship is a strange mix of mother and daughter and sister that works so well, with the animation and voice acting working so hard to sell it and make it one of the most memorable Disney dynamics ever. Fuck you, Timon and Pumbaa, this is the greatest pairing in Disney history. However, the complex family relationship moments is ended because of this fucking guy. I'm not saying I hate Stitch by any stretch of the imagination, it's just, he seems so out of place, and his story and plotline doesn't hold up to the quality of Lilo and Nani. But regardless, 626 hatches a plan to hide out as a dog with Lilo to avoid being captured by Jumba and Pinkley. The movie progresses with 626, now renamed as Stitch, trying to cause chaos, with Lilo and Nani just treating him like a dog, despite his blue fur, demon ears, and him standing on his hind legs at every fucking opportunity. As well as this bullshit. I mean seriously, Grand Theft Auto isn't usual canine behavior. We cut to Nani working her job and voicing her struggles of having a relationship while also trying to raise her sister. But this interesting character moment is interrupted by Stitch getting her fired, which she shields her sister from and takes in her stride. Nah. Nani is about to take Stitch back to the pound, but Lilo hits her with the movie's slogan.
Ohana means family. Family means
nobody gets left behind. Or forgotten.
This guilt trip manages to convince Nani to let Stitch stay, and Lilo takes him upstairs to go to bed. Though, quick side note, Nani is a frickin' saint keeping this asshole around. Hell, forget the pound, I would have old yelled this asshole in under an hour. Lilo convinces Stitch to create rather than destroy. Stitch begins going through an identity transformation, and the movie begins a new theme, of a better tomorrow. So, once again, the movie progresses with a montage, with Nani looking for a job and Stitch trying to learn some damn manners. However, despite her best efforts, Nani still ends up jobless as a result of Stitch screwing it up each time. How do they deal with this problem? Well, since it's Hawaii, go surfing of course, as they hit up the beach with Nani's boyfriend. However, Jumbo tries to grab Stitch, which results in him going feral, and Bubbles states he's taking Lilo in the morning, and asks Nani to see that it's what's best for Lilo. And honestly, he's kinda right. It's hard to disagree with him. I mean, Nani is trying her best, but it's easy to see that it's a logical decision from what he's observed. This movie does a great job of making Bubbles an antagonist rather than a villain. It's clear to see that Nani's struggling, and from Bubbles' point of view, it might be the better decision to take Lilo away. Hell, even from the viewer's point of view, it might be a better decision for Lilo to go with him. All he is a problem that they realistically have to deal with, which makes their situation all the more interesting. After believing himself to be the cause of Lilo and Nani's problems, Stitch leaves us. And after this emotional scene, we cut to Jumbo and Pinkley just being dumbasses. Okay, sure, fine. Put all your time, effort, and emotion into this scene, and then jump immediately into this bullshit. That's not emotionally jarring or undercutting the tension of the scene. Jumbo and Pinkley get fired by the General as he heads to Earth to take care of Stitch himself. Throwing this antagonist at us in the last half hour? Sure, cool, why not? Jumbo runs into Stitch and reveals to him that he was made in a lab and has no family, which causes him to run back to Lilo. And then this turns into what I guess is a fight scene? Honestly, it's hard to tell. Lilo calls in Bubbles and the fight intensifies, with Lilo and Nani's house getting destroyed. Bubbles tries to take Lilo away, but when she runs off and runs into Stitch, she blames him for everything. But then the two of them get captured by the General, who I guess is a street shark. Hammerhead tries to take them both, but unbeknownst to him, Stitch escapes. Nani tries to confront Stitch when all this shit goes down.
Lilo.
Now, all your washing is up.
You're under arrest! Freedom is rights!
Listen carefully.
I guess the finale was just rushed out at the end. These characters really don't feel like they're meant to interact, and it just feels really stilted in tone. An emotional moment is undercut by these two underdeveloped characters, and the fact that they only exist for comic relief makes it all the worse. The four characters team up and try to save Lilo in a daring rescue. I mean, they team up for little to no reason, but hey, they do it. After a quick chase, fight scene, and a whole lot of physics, Lilo is rescued. The councilwoman from the beginning shows up to take Stitch away, but he reveals himself to have grown into a loving and caring creature, so she lets him stay. Great idea letting the terrifying blue monster live on the unevolved and violent species world who has no idea of its existence. Sure, that won't come back to bite them in the ass. So after their house is rebuilt, Jumba, Pinkley, and more importantly Stitch are allowed to stay with Lilo and Nani, and they all live happily ever after. Huzzah! However, is the film good? And who is the target audience? Well, it's definitely good. The film has a real heart, which you could feel throughout it. The main characters are memorable, especially Lilo and Nani, and Stitch, when he's at his best, is great. However, the real problem is all of the space stuff. Sure, it's big, loud, goofy fun, but that's all it is. It's predictable and just kinda tossed in there with the Nani and Lilo family stuff, which is so much better. It honestly feels at times like two movies got shoved together, that Disney wanted to do a Star Wars-like epic, while also doing a complicated movie about two sisters and their problems. But overall it is a good film, with some minor pacing problems and a very cluttered third act. However, with all that being said, who is the target audience? Well, Ohana's, families. Lilo and Stitch, at its core, is the perfect family movie. It's entertaining, engaging, and has enough quick moments, bright colors, and beautiful animation to keep your young ones watching and enjoyed. Especially with Stitch, all the space stuff, and all the action at the end, where the animation style really shines. Meanwhile, the Lilo and Nani stuff provides a perfect story to keep adults going. It is a bit all over the place, but that allows it to cover a lot of bases and be enjoyed by a wide range of family members. There's something to love for all ages in this film, and that's why it would be a great pick for family movie night. Not only that, but the movie is good enough from a pure cinematic point of view that when you're older and you want to revisit a movie from your childhood, you're not going to be disappointed. It's something that you'd be happy to show your own kids one day, and that's exactly what you should do. My name's GuySkull101, you are the target audience, and thank you for watching.